welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to have a look at how to systematically plan out your new year. And the way we do this is with Beth Kempton's book entitled Calm Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I have included the link to her book in the description box below. And mid-January is a good time to do this since we are more or less settled into our daily routines of 2023. But we can't do any planning without reflections. And this is where the template that Beth Kempton has proposed comes in. In her book, she has proposed this template that we can all use to jot down any highlights during 2022, which is the year that has passed. And we can divide this template into home and work, as well as 4 additional themes. And I have done this for the first half of the year, and you can do the same with the second half. And once you have something like this together, you would be ready to ask yourself some questions. Are there any patterns of positives or negatives at certain parts of the year? Have you been affected by any major changes? Was there any personal growth that were affected by your own personal actions? And were there any that were initiated by external forces? And how did you cope with challenges during the year? Was there any blessings during the year? And how did the year feel to you? Was there anything that you want to take with you to the new year? And was there anything that you want to leave behind? And what kind of changes do you want to make? And overall, how would you rate the year for yourself? Once you have had a chance to ask yourself some of the initial questions, you would be ready to rapid fire yourself with some short questions that you'll be able to answer in an instant. For example, in the previous 12 months, what did you get curious about, get over, get good at, embrace, rediscover, surrender to, sacrifice, sideline, survive, or celebrate? Once you have had a chance to go through the previous 2 question rounds, you'll be ready to dive deeper and ask yourself some of the more in-depth questions, such as, what did this year teach you about your capacity for courage? What risks did you take, and how did they work out? What did this year teach you about relationships, love, and your capacity for forgiveness? What particular synchronicities did you notice? Where did you bring light to the darkness for someone? And when were you generous? And how did that serve you? Did you neglect yourself in any way? And did you prevent yourself from having access to something that you needed? If a similar situation arises this year, what will you tell yourself? Of all the places when you spent time, what environment made you the most comfortable and calm? And when did you have the best ideas? What changes did you notice in your loved ones? And what went on in the world that really affected you? What did that teach you about your role in the wider society? What did this year teach you about the preciousness of life? And once you have gone through some of the general themed questions, you'll be ready to dig deeper into the practical questions, such as, what did you create or make happen? What brought you the most satisfaction? When was money well spent? And when did you waste money? What was the best use of your time and energy? And where did you waste time and energy? What was a real success for you and why? And what did you learn from that? What didn't work out as you had hoped and why? And what did you learn from that? What or who was a challenge and why? And what did you learn from that? What was the single most important thing you did for your physical health? And what about your mental health? Looking back, if you could sum up the year in a single word, what would it be? An important part of reflection is letting go, and these can include things that are no longer serving you, and they can include particular grievances, specific aspects of challenging relationships, longing for things that are no longer available, old stories that result in recurring self-destructive behaviors, attitudes that no longer fit your life, and judgments that stand in the way of connections, and habits that you want to break. And you might want to make it a ritual to write these things down on a piece of paper and throw these papers away or burn them, and consider what you might be making room by letting these things go. And as you go into your final reflections, think about, what do you want to carry with you into the new year? What truths are you ready to start believing? And what are you ready to receive? As you wrap up your previous year and plan into your upcoming year, one of the biggest misconceptions is that you try and have this grand plan for the new year and have so many goals that are unachievable and unrealistic given your current situation that you easily give up, or you just don't bother at all. So it's very important to plan a calm entrance into the new year, and don't try to reinvent yourself. You're perfectly imperfect just as you are. And don't make false promises on random, unrealistic resolutions, but rather assess your energy for the coming year and pledge to remain open to new ideas. And plan loosely for the time being. As you loosely plan out your new year, what you're essentially doing is imagining a version of your life. And in this imagination or dreaming process, there are several stages for you to be conscious about. Let's have a look at each of them together. A lot of the times, we start with not knowing that having a dream is an option. And then at some point, you start dreaming about having a dream. And then you move on to shaping the dream and making the dream a reality. And then at some point, you start living the dream and realizing that the dream isn't perfect. And then you start adjusting the dream and pinning for a new dream. And in the next few slides, we will look at the details of how to work about each of these stages together. In the dreaming about having a dream stage and shaping your dream, it's important that you acknowledge your dream. Imagine what you might be doing on a day-to-day basis upon realizing your dream. How would you spend your time and energy? How would you earn money? How do you feel on a day-to-day basis? And how do you connect with others? After acknowledging your dream, the next stage would be to find out where you are right now and identify the phase that best correlates with your current situation. And ask yourself, what will be this year's contribution to my dream development? And nurture your dream tenderly and allow time and space to reveal themselves. And sometimes you need to take a leap of faith and let things evolve. When shaping your dream, it sometimes is quicker to realize what you want if you think about what your dream actually represents. We often think that we want something specific, but it's actually what that thing represents that we're yearning for. Think about what a beautiful farmhouse represents. Does it mean more downtime to you? If so, then you can probably ask your boss for some time off. Does it mean more space to play with your pets? If so, then you can probably go to the park more often. Does it mean more land to grow your vegetables? If so, then you can probably rent out a piece of land from your local farm. Things like these will give you ideas of how to specifically go about realizing your dream and dig deeper into your rationalities in your dreaming process. And when putting your dream into action, think about boldness, not scale. Think about doing something that's outside of your comfort zone, something that feels scary but exciting. And in carrying out your plan throughout the year, it might help to align your actions with the seasons. Because light and weather that are available throughout the year may vary, and thus your energy and what you can do during that time will be different. And so it might help to have one goal set for each season as a guidepost. And as I've mentioned in the planning stage, it's very important that you do not resort to one version of your plan, but rather let it go and loosen your grip so that your dream is free to take its shape. As you mentally prepare yourself for the upcoming year, ask yourself the following questions. Will you be ready if this is going to be the most transformational year for you? What if this is going to be a really hard year? What if your health is going to be challenged? What if you are going to meet a wonderful new friend this year? What if everything is going to change due to a major shift in the world? Are you going to be ready? Maybe it would help to block off some time in your calendars for some unknown goodness coming your way. And I know what you're going to say for this. Oh, what am I going to do for this block of time that I blocked out? A lot of people have done this and good things have come to them. As you plan out the specifics of your upcoming year, consider the following questions. What do you want more of this coming year? And what are you willing to trade, forgo, or sacrifice to get it? What do you want less of? And how will you ensure that happens? What specific projects or ideas is demanding your attention right now, and how will you make time for it? What do you need to learn or work on this year? And how will you steady yourself in times of inevitable uncertainty? Who do you want to spend more time with? And who do you want to spend less time with? What is your definition of living well? Which attitudes, habits, rituals, and rhythms will help you live that way? What are you hopeful about? And finally, what is your overall intention for the upcoming year?